Welcome to Present Poetry. I'm your host, Erin Crittenden, and all poems within this podcast are either public domain or used with permission from the author or the author's estate. It's a fun time for poetry lovers of all ages, so sit back, relax, and get ready to hear some poems of the past and the present. This week's featured poet is James Foley. James William Foley was born on February 4th, 1874, in St. Louis, Missouri. He and his family moved to Fort Abraham Lincoln in North Dakota in the late 1870s, following his father's career as a military man. There, James attended primary school until the family moved to Bismarck, where he eventually graduated from high school in 1888 at the age of 14. He then moved to Medora for a year to attend the University of South Dakota before spending a number of years in the Badlands. During that time, Foley ended up as a writer and editor for the Bismarck Tribune. He also became interested in state politics and for many years served as a stringer for a number of national newspapers. In 1902, Foley published Prairie Breezes, a book that ended up becoming the namesake for the Bismark High School Yearbook, his alma mater. When Theodore Roosevelt traveled through North Dakota in 1903, Foley wrote a poem celebrating his return. He also wrote a poem entitled Theodore and Joe, about the friendship between Roosevelt and his first hunting guide, Joe Ferris. Later, in 1906, Roosevelt spoke highly of Foley in the introduction to one of Foley's books, Voices of Song. In it, he called Foley one of the comparatively few men of that time and region who is devoted to reading and to books. Theodore Roosevelt also claimed that, now and then, after 6 or 8 weeks on the range with valued friends who were of distinctly non-literary types, I would come in to spend an evening with Mr. Foley for the especial purpose of again listening to speech about books. During his lifetime, Foley wrote prose for the New York Times and the Saturday Evening Post. He also produced more than a dozen books of poetry and was regarded as the unofficial poet laureate of North Dakota. In 1926, the Superintendent of Public Instruction for North Dakota, Minnie J. Nielsen, invited Foley to write lyrics for a song about North Dakota. Foley's song, titled North Dakota Hymn, was officially adopted as the North Dakota state song in 1947. Sadly, he wouldn't live to see it become Dakota's state song because James Foley passed away on May 19, 1939, at the age of 65. He is currently buried in the Forest Lawn Memorial Park of Glendale, California, which is where he and his wife were living at the time. We are reading from his collection of poetry titled Boys and Girls, which was published in 1905. This poem is called Away. I won't be long, the little boy said, as he clattered him down the stair, and found him a hat for his curly head, and called to a dog somewhere. Then off like a flash down the shady lane, with a whistle and cry and a song, and back to us ever it came again. I won't be gone very long. I won't be long, the little boy said, as we saw him among the trees, his eyes all bright and his cheeks all red, a friend of the birds and bees. Then through the hedges and out the gate, for naught in the world goes wrong, with a boy of 6 or 7 or 8, I won't be gone very long. I won't be long, the little boy said, I'm just going out to play. And the curly dog barked, and the two of them sped over the clover away. He waved us a kiss with a little brown hand, and cries rose from here and there, for oh, but a boy does understand a dog in the open air. I won't be long, the little boy said. Don't wait any supper, you see. I'll just have a bowl of milk and bread, and my dog he will eat with me. Then he swung his hat on its tangled string, till the curly dog wagged his tail, and romped and played like a boy in spring, and barked him a comrade's hail. I won't be long, the little boy said. Oh, mother of him, don't cry. The leaves come green again, yellow and red, and the years go by. But sometimes he'll come, as we've seen him do, with the bark of a dog and a song, for it must be true, oh, it must be true, that he'll not be gone very long. This poem is called The Delusion of Ghosts. Sometimes when I got to do errands at night, and the moon is all dark and there ain't any light, and the wind when it blows makes a shivery sound, and everything seems awful still all around, sometimes when a hoot owl goes hoo-hoo-hoo, my legs feel so funny I'm all goose-flesh too, and maybe I'm startled when I hear it call, but I ain't a bit scared, I'm just nervous is all. Once me and Joe Simpson was walking one night, I passed the old graveyard and saw something white. It looked like a ghost standing right in the road, and my Joe was scared, 'cause he said it he knowed. It was surely a ghost, and I whistled because, when you whistle you scare 'em, and all that it was a great big white cow, and it thus walked away, and I wasn't no more scared if it was day. 'Cause I don't believe in ghosts, and I dees as leave go. I pass any graveyards and walk awful slow, and whistle and sit on top of the fence, 'cause there ain't any ghosts if you got any sense. And when we saw that big white thing by the road, and Joe was so scared of, I wasn't, I knowed. All the time it's no ghost. I was nervous because I know what it wasn't, but not what it was. This poem is called The Song of Summer Days. Sing a song of hollow logs, chirp of cricket, croak of frogs, cry of wild bird, hum of bees, dancing leaves and whispering trees, legs all bare and dusty toes, ruddy cheeks and freckled nose, splash of brook and swish of line, where's the song that's half so fine? Sing a song of summer days, leafy nooks and shady ways, nodding roses, apples red, clover like a carpet spread. Sing a song of running brooks, cans of bait and fishing hooks, dewy hollows, yellow moons, birds a-pipe with merry tunes. Sing a song of skies of blue, Eden's garden made anew, scarlet hedges, leafy lanes, vines embowered sills and panes. Stretch of meadows, splash with dew, silver clouds with sunlight through, cry of loon and pipe of wren, sing and call it home again. This poem is called A Pearl of Price. She isn't worth a fortune, and she hasn't any stocks. Her wealth is all in little shoes and pinafores and frocks, in little rings of curling hair and big blue laughing eyes, in leaves and grass and buds and flowers and bees and butterflies. But when she comes in tired from play and crawls upon my knee, she's worth 100 millions to her mother and to me. She sits among her dolls and toys and doesn't seem to care if wealth is all in rosy cheeks and locks of curly hair. She toddles up to me and like an artful fairy clips a coupon bearing love from off the sweetness of her lips. And when she puts her arms around my neck and goos in glee, she was worth uncounted millions to her mother and to me. And when she's in her crib at night and daintily tucked in, the wealth of creases couldn't buy the dimple in her chin. And as she blinks her roguish eyes to play at peekaboo, she chuckles me a fortune with each archly spoken goo. And though she has no fortune, I am sure you will agree, she's a fortune more than money to her mother and to me. This poem is called Two Little Maids. Little Miss Nothing to Do is fretful and cross and so blue, and the light in her eyes is all dim when she cries, and her friends they are few, oh so few. Her dolls they are nothing but sawdust and clothes. Whenever she wants to go skating it snows, and everything's crisscross, the world is askew. I wouldn't be Little Miss Nothing to Do. Now true, I wouldn't be Little Miss Nothing to Do, would you? Little Miss Busy all day is cheerful and happy and gay, and she isn't a shirk, for she smiles at her work, and she romps when it comes time for play. Her dolls they are princesses, blue-eyed and fair. She makes them a throne from a rickety chair, and everything happens the jolliest way. I'd rather be little Miss Busy all day. Hooray! I'd rather be little Miss Busy all day, I say. Thank you for listening to this episode of Present Poetry. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review, share us on social media, or subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you would like to learn more about the featured poet, or you would like your work featured on the podcast, please check out the links in the show notes. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.